So today I'm very excited to be chatting with you about the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation. Now this is not the regular foundation, that's a different thing. This is the Mix Serum Foundation. It says it is a gel foundation with 16 hours of radiance boosting, even revived complexion. And it says it's got fruits in it. It definitely smells like fruits. So I mean, hey, maybe that means it's good for you. This is a foundation that I've had for a little while now. I definitely got to play with it a lot and figure out what makes it work for my skin, which is combo to dry. So I really feel like I can give you a really good opinion on it because I know what I'm doing. This is not a first impression. I've got this. So before I get into what I think about the foundation, we should probably take a peek at the Bourjois website to see what they say. Now, I actually, for some reason, can't seem to find a Bourjois website that I can access in Canada, but you can get Bourjois at Shoppers Drug Mart, and so that is where I am taking this information from. So this is the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation. It says 16-hour radiance booster, even and revived complexion. Give your skin a radiance boost with Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Gel Foundation from a vitamin-rich fruit therapy for an even complexion in an instant. I do have mine in the shade 51 Vanille Clair, which is the lightest shade it comes in. It's a very, very yellowy shade, but I don't mind that. And it is $30 when you buy it from Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada. I know the Bourjois is like dang near impossible to get if you're in the States. So if you end up wanting to try this foundation, you're probably going to have to order it from somewhere, but it's widely available in the UK. And then, like I've said 40 times now, you can get it at Shoppers in Canada, so we're covered. First things first, I gotta say, this is kind of a packaging fail for me. I mean, you get an ounce of foundation in here like you do with most products, but this little red top here doesn't actually stay on very well. It just kind of comes off and on. And so that way, I feel like I could never travel with this unless I changed containers or changed the lids or something. Because like this is going to fall off if I put it in any kind of bag or anything. And then anything's going to hit the pump and it's going to get all over the place. So I really wish this either really snapped on or screwed on or something in some kind of way to protect that top. But every time I've dropped this and it's fallen off my desk, the red lid goes flying. The pump itself is kind of like a love-hate thing. You might love it or you might hate it. It's very little product comes out when you pump. So like let's say for any of my other foundations, like say the Maybelline Better Skin, I can do 2 pumps of that and that'll do my whole face. But this one I'll have to do like 5 or 6 pumps to get my whole face because so little comes out at one time. I mean, the pro of that is that it probably helps you control the amount of product that you're using more. But the con is that, you're thinking you're using a lot because you're sitting here pumping it forever. This is a foundation that provides a very, very light coverage. So if you're someone who feels like you need to cover a lot, I wouldn't recommend this one. But I'm someone who likes, above all, I want my skin to look like skin. If I have a zit or something that I want to go in and spot conceal after, we'll do that. But I want my skin overall to look, I want you to be able to see my zits and my moles and my freckles or whatever. And I don't ever want to look like I'm wearing that foundation mask. So something that has a lighter coverage like this is ideal for me, but that's not like that for everyone. So my favorite way to apply this foundation, after many tryings and many different brushes and that sort of thing, my favorite way to apply it is to pump out some on the back of my hands and then dot it on one section of my face and then blend it out and then kind of move to like a cheek and then do that and then the other cheek. The reason I do it section at a time is that this foundation does take a long time to set, but it starts to set quickly. Does that make sense? It takes off running, but then it slows down. So if I dot it all over my whole face and then I try to blend it out, it'll have spots on my forehead where it's stuck. Whereas if I move place by place, it goes on pretty well overall. So that's what I like to do. I like to dot it on my forehead and then blend it out with my Real Technique sponge, and then cheek, and then other cheek, and then kind of finish blending and add whatever I have to on my nose and on my upper lip and chin. It is the foundation that I'm wearing right now, and I overall think it looks really, really nice on my skin, but the one problem I have with this foundation is that I do have drier skin. And even though this says it's like radiance boosting and all that stuff, it does try to dry matte. It really does try to cling on to whatever dryness you have on your face and look a little bit, I want to say cakey, but you're not using enough product for it to be cakey, but it looks cakey, So my skin by itself, even though this is a gel serum foundation, is too dry for this. I have to make sure before I use this foundation that I put on a really, really hydrating moisturizer, like something like this hemp one from the Body Shop that's really intense and takes 15 minutes to soak in before I can do anything. Or something that I found really, really works well with this foundation is the MAC Strobe Cream. Now, my general rule is that I don't want to have to use one product with another product to make it work. I want to like it on its own and then have it be complemented by another product. But, like, I just love these two together so much. I recently bought the MAC Strobe Cream because I had a whole bunch of little samples of it from MAC orders I'd done in the past. And I finally ran out, and then I was like, well, I might as well buy it if I like it so much. So I did, and these two are what I'm wearing on my face right now. I wore them in a past tutorial together. Like, they make such a good, naturally nice and healthy looking combination on my skin. I find that when I wear these together, I don't get any of that, at the end of the day, my skin looks really dry and crepey. I mean, I still get that under my eyes, but I get that under my eyes all the time. I don't look as haggard as I usually do at the end of the day. When I wear these together, my skin typically still looks nice, and because the MAC Strobe Cream is a little bit tacky when it goes on, it really does help the Bourjois foundation to stick on. And even though it is a light coverage foundation, and you might think that that's going to disappear really fast, I do find at the end of the day that I have foundation on my face still, and it looks really nice. And because this foundation has a tendency to dry down, really dry looking on my face, I actually don't set it with powder anymore. I did set it with powder the first couple times I used it, but as we have moved more into winter and the world gets drier and I get drier, I don't set it with powder at all anymore. And I actually think that because I'm using the strobe cream underneath it as well, really is what helps to keep it sort of luminous. You can really see on my forehead here, but that's what really helps keep its luminance and its natural look. So overall, I don't know that this would work for you if you had super oily skin, but I think if you have like oily skin, it might help to control it a little bit, and it might look like really natural. And if not, you can always pair it with like a mattifying powder or primer to like really get that look the way that you want it. I think for a foundation that is kind of in the middle price range, like it's a $30 foundation, right? But most drugstore foundations are up around $20 now, and then you go to Sephora and they're like $50 or $60. So this is like really in the middle. So I think for a foundation around that price, I really do like it, and I like light coverage, and I don't mind having to make sure that I really moisturize well underneath it. So overall, I really like this foundation. Am I totally blown away by it? Has my life changed? No. Will I continue to use this whole bottle? Yes. Will I even potentially buy a new bottle of it when I run out? Maybe, because I like that I know how to use it for me. So it's really easy to put on in the morning. I don't really have to think about it because it's like, oh, my Bourjois there, so I'll grab my strobe cream. Okay. Anyway, I hope that makes sense, as I often hope at the end of these videos. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already. And I will see you next time. Bye!